What is going on, jerk faces? It's your boy Andy, and you're watching Nocturnal Transmissions, brought to you by the Circle of Jerks podcast. It's the conversation you could be having during the day, but having at night. And I'm just noticing now that my window is frozen for some reason. What a great way to start things off.
Well, Andy's frozen, but I'm alive, so...
Yes. Yeah, so you have to put up with, I know, it's just really sad because it froze on a really, stupid expression. So,
right, is it like something like that?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I think the people can still hear me, so, yeah, we're having a few technical issues, tonight, So, if you'll, indulge us and, as we try to, let's muddle our way through this.
Well, anyways, I'm Robert. Obviously, you guys know that.
Yes.
And,
yes, they do know that.
Yeah, I also, I don't know what's been going on today, but I've been hungry all day long. So I haven't been eating like a lot, but I've been eating like small stuff throughout the day. And right now I have a chili cheese dip that I made with some chips. It's kind of a snack for the live stream. So if you hear me eating, that's what it is. That's what it is. So
yeah, way to be a professional, Robert.
I know. What do you expect?
Some damn professionalism.
Anyways, well, that's professionalism is very tough for me. And while we're waiting for Andy to unfreeze,
okay.
I
think okay, we're unfrozen.
Now
Woo!
You're unfrozen. All right.
Yes.
One of the few things that's actually frozen nowadays.
Yeah. Well, yes. Well, anyways, since this stream has gotten off to such a marvelous beginning, let's just get this conversation started.
Let's do it.
So how's your weekend, Robert?
So, all right. Well, we got this week has been nothing spectacular. Just work, church, the usual. My parents are out of town, so I'm helping taking care of our dog.
So what I'm hearing is house party at Robert's parents' house.
Yeah, woof. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I don't want to have a party at my house, much less party at someone else's.
Well, that's the beauty of it. You could trash their place, and
Yeah, and I would never be welcomed back again. So I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, no, just taking care of the dog, and they're working at a car show that is held every year in Reno, Nevada, called Hot August Nights.
Mm.
They're working at a my dad does is a side business. He does sells car care products, and so he's working for the dealer that he works for. He's working their booth again this year. So.
Let's see.
Not too bad. He enjoys it. He loves. He likes to spin a good yarn. He's a great storyteller and loves talking with people. So, but yeah, that's pretty much me this week. I'm getting ready for vacation that's coming up pretty soon. I'll have a week off, and I can just take some time to let my body rest. A little bit and get some stuff accomplished that I've been, errands that I need to get accomplished that I have not been able to do. So I'll be doing that in about a week or so. But yeah, nothing too exciting on my end. I've been working on a review of a ROM hack.
A what?
I'm doing a review of a game, but it's not a. It's a ROM hack of Super Mario World called Mario is Missing Done Right. Because the
it sounds kind of like a mouthful.
Yeah, well, the original like Mario was missing. The official Nintendo version was garbage, and so there was a guy who put together a ROM hack utilizing a bunch of different Mario games and created this Mario's Missing done right, and it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been working on. Well, I'm finishing up the playthrough of that right now, and I've been working on a review of it to put out on a review blog.
Let's see. That's pretty cool.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, nothing too exciting. What about you, Andy? Well, you had your speed dating venture, or was supposed to.
Yeah. For those of you who joined us last week, I had let y'all know that I'd be attending a speed dating event, and so I had signed up for it. I prepaid, I paid for it, and I confirmed my attendance. And then the day of the event happens, and I get an email from the group hosting, and they tell me that they're going to cancel the event and reschedule it for the following week. And so said to then reply to the email that they sent whether or not I still wish to participate. And I replied back in the affirmative, and so yes, this hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, I will be attending a speed dating event this Friday.
So to be continued.
Yeah, or to be continued, or to be determined, or any one of those things. Yeah, it was just it was a little annoying that they canceled it like the day of the event, but I have a sneaking suspicion that they didn't get enough women to sign up for the event.
That may be a possibility.
Yeah.
I would not put or not enough dudes.
What was that?
Or not enough guys.
Maybe, but I think the former is more likely. But because what is it? Dancing Jason, he attended a different speed dating event by the same company, and he said that it wasn't that great. It was what was it? It was like 5 women and 9 men.
Ugh.
Yeah, so it was nearly 2-to-1 ratio, men to women.
That's not good.
No, it's not. So, but they said they did give him a free event, a voucher. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah. And I think for him, because he was forced to go into kind of the older bracket, because I mean Jason is old, like several years older than all of us, and
right.
so yeah, so like the like event organizers, they split you up into certain age brackets. And so I'm in the age bracket of mid-20s to like mid to late 30s, and then of course Jason had to go to the late 30s to mid 40s event.
Right. Okay.
And so yeah, so I wouldn't imagine that there was I would imagine this, the pickings are slimmer in that bracket.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was really hoping
so
for.
all of you disappointed that you're not hearing about my adventures or I don't know misadventures in speed dating. You're just gonna have to wait until next week.
I was waiting for that all week, and now I just feel like I think we should just end the stream now. I need to go out.
I know Robert's like, I'm done. Robert was only here for one thing. And that was to hear about my.
That's really the only reason I showed up.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm I really don't even care for myself because we're kind of doing this for or I'm doing this for a friend of mine who I think I shared this last week, but he's kind of on. What was that?
A tad awkward.
Yeah, he's a bit on the awkward side. He doesn't. He lacks some social graces, as it were, and he hasn't. He hasn't had much experience with women, and so me and James and Dan and James, so we kind of intervened and we're like, all right, let's get you some practice. Let's get you in front of some women, and we're basically throwing him in the deep end.
That's the way to go about it.
Right? I mean, because, he's at a certain age where, it's time to, kind of consider settling down. And he's expressed that he wishes to settle down also, but, he doesn't really go out. He doesn't really go out to social events. And so, he has, very little practice. Interacting with the opposite sex. So we're helping to facilitate opportunities for him to gain more experience and practice. Because he always kind of marvels, or he always kind of opines about how so you guys are able to talk to women so well, and and it's it's not that it's not like we were born with this knowledge or this ability. It took a lot. It took a lot of times. Approaching women and being utterly destroyed by them, and then to just being destroyed by them, and then just being kind of hurt by them, and then kind of it's a long road and a long scarring process.
You just got to boomhauer the situation.
Right, just talk really fast and just confuse them. Like, damn, man, I tell you what, man, I'll tell you, go to the mall, we're going to go eat pasta, and the lady in the trap is getting mwah.
Well, he plays the numbers game. He just eventually the odds are going to work in your favor.
Yeah, I mean,
out of 100 women, maybe 90 say no, but 10 could say yes. So
So, yeah, and that's all the motivation that men need. That 10% is all the motivation we need. Whereas opposed to I think to women who that 10% is what the thing that can utterly destroy them, their self-confidence.
Right. Well, hey, that's been there, done that. That's for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I even went through before we found out that the event was going to be canceled. I even did a few dry runs with him, and trying to show him
this.
Huh?
It's don't say this.
Yeah. I mean, as nice as they might be, don't start off with, you have really nice boobs.
Yeah, bad call.
Yeah. Bad way to start off. Bad way to start off a conversation. So,
Well, we'll have to wait one more week for the misadventures of speed dating.
yes. Yeah, I mean, I hope I'll be able to concentrate, on the women that sit that's the women that sit across from me, because
Right.
yeah, because I'd be like kind of like I might be a little too preoccupied trying to listen for my friend.
Especially if he's sitting like right next to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Although, like, worst case scenario, like the girls like are throwing drinks in his face all night.
Or you'll be with the girls that he talks to. It's like, all right, so what happened? Like,
oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. I was like, all right, so that last guy, he's like, give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts. What'd you think?
There you go, wingman it up.
Smart. I didn't even think about that.
Man, always thinking.
Right, always thinking. All right.
So tune in next week.
Yes. Yes. Next week, hopefully I'll have a thrilling tale for everyone. So
hopefully.
Yes.
Well, I've been the past couple weeks I've been behind on a lot of news because normally when I'm at work, working a lot of hours before, I was able to listen to all the stuff that we normally like listen to through podcast form. I just put in my earbuds and while I'm working, I'm listening to it. Well, they changed that, I guess, for a few various reasons. That policy is now changed, so I can't do that anymore, at least for the moment.
At work?
So I've been So I've been
even when you're working in the back.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I wouldn't do it at the window. Like that's just foolish. But no.
Yes, and highly unprofessional.
Yeah, even like when we're just not able to do it unfortunately. So, at least for the moment. So I've been getting a little bit behind, and so, but this week, some news that I couldn't ignore because it was literally everywhere.
Yes.
With the whole controversy with love him or hate him, and whatever you think of him. Alex Jones has been a big target of Facebook, Twitter, iTunes, any sort of place where you get any sort of social media. They've been pretty much censoring him or outright outcasting him, so you can't get his content anymore, which is a horrible violation of the first of free speech rights, and they label it something like, oh, we just don't want fake news or all this stuff. But the way it's like, well, you're allowing other people like this crazy woman Karen Jung to rant racistly about white people, and yet she is free to say whatever crazy thing that's on her mind. Yet Alex Jones, who might be a little bit of a character to say the least, but there's some things where he is 1,000% correct, and a lot of he's had his thumb on the whole pedophile issue that's been going around, and he's been at the forefront of that fight. But yeah, they're putting the locks down on him right now.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who don't know, like Robert said, it was like one of those moves you make it, in the middle of the night, so you're not seen. But
they literally did it in the middle of the night.
Yeah, they literally. Yeah, it was like it's like one of those mafia moves where you kill your enemy in the middle of the night. But yeah, Alex Jones was thrown off of Facebook his podcast is no longer available on iTunes, and I think Spotify, of all things, removed his all the library, the entire like contents of his library, like podcasts and things like that, off their platform, as well as I think YouTube even. What was it? Did they shut his page down, channel down?
Some of his stuff has been shut down. I don't think it's been all of it, but.
Or I think he's been. I think he's suspended from his account on YouTube.
I don't think it was Infowars outright, but I believe it was Alex.
His channel, Alex Jones channel. And for those of you, whether it doesn't matter if you're a fan or not. You have to understand the chilling implications of what happened to Alex Jones, and it's three or four very powerful technology companies got together and decided to purge a person from their platforms. Like you want to talk about collusion. This what happened to Alex Jones. That's collusion, because it wasn't as though like platforms one by one were kicking Alex Jones off. It happened all at the same time, and all within the same day.
Right.
So
and is that within 10 hours of each other, they all kicked his stuff off.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if
that's not a coincidence.
Yeah, it should send a cold feeling up your spine, because
especially none of his I'll say one thing, none of his content is a call to violence, which to be honest, I think that stuff like that should be potentially censored or. Because there's no First Amendment, protection for, calling for violence. It's, but the fact that they're doing it to Alex Jones means that, they already hold pretty much a monopoly on that whole industry right now for showing news and through the internet. So who's next? There's not really a real reason or whatever that they'll state. So they, it's pretty much like whatever they're feeling like that day, or whoever, activists, bullshits, their, complains the loudest. That's the next person that's going to get kicked off.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Quick, Robert, is there any way you could face a different direction? The light in the background is.
Yeah, 1 second. Hold on.
Yeah, just pivot. Yeah, there. Yeah, because that light is blowing you out, and it's also I think causing your camera to freak out, and it keeps trying to focus. Couldn't hold the focus.
All right, are we better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. But yes. Yeah, and I think the reaction has been pretty interesting. For one, Philip DeFranco, he did he gave his take on it, but it really wasn't. Because I generally like his content. I watch his show to get at least a centrist view on certain things. I think he's he's pretty middle of the road. Even though he does lean a little bit more left.
Yeah.
But this one was just he spent the first 2-3 minutes of the segment talking about Alex Jones. like just like kind of mocking him, like doing an impression of him, I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think like he even like called him like a vitamin pusher.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it is fun to do Alex Jones impersonations.
Yeah, I mean he's a character, and even Alex Jones understands that that he's a character, and so, but it really wasn't like anything substantive. It was more like he's making fun of him, and then he's like, okay, well, what do you think, and let me know what your thoughts are. But he, and Philip DeFranco, he's been someone who has criticized YouTube and big tech companies, because he's also like experienced some of the pangs of the what is it, the the nebulous terms of service of YouTube, because like his videos were being demonetized and all that stuff back in the day, and he was constantly asking like, what the heck is going on YouTube, and da da da. I just want some clear answers. But for this one, he was like, it was kind of a hack job, and it was very half-assed, I think. And it was just more like, mock, ridicule, and then it's like, oh no, what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below, or, and it's just like, but you didn't really offer up anything. You just spent like, 2 minutes, making fun of him, kind of, kind of in a very subtle way, kind of delighting in that he got kicked off the platforms.
Yeah. Well, one thing that, the Daily Wire has talked about is, that these platforms doing this, YouTube, Twitter, what have you, is, as of right now, they've always acted as as just like a free, open platform, so people can put their content on, so on and so forth. But what they're doing is they're putting themselves in a very dangerous position, whereas like they're actually they're acting like a publisher.
Right. Because they're curating, right?
They open up themselves up to huge amounts of lawsuits because a lot of people are uploading pictures that aren't theirs to these places. They're putting plagiarized content on there, and if they continue to act like a publisher, then they're going to have a lot of backlash from a lot of people, and
and they can also be sued for libel, because like, what if someone puts up something kind of mocking or disparaging of say Justin Trudeau? Can Justin Trudeau then go and sue Facebook because it's on their site, and they like and they say that they're now curating content, so like if you follow this thing, then you're more likely to see it, or or like if they deem something non-credible or fake news, then then they'll remove it. So, but then they leave that that Justin Trudeau thing up, Yeah, it just changes the game.
Yep. That's where I'm kind of seeing that be a potential direction that is going to happen at some point, because there has to be some sort of backlash against these guys who either have them change the way that they do things, or I don't know, or there's going to have to be some sort of conservative version of these things to or
well, I think
I said, they're acting like a monopoly at this point, and so that
they totally are. They totally are. I mean, it's to the point where Google is now synonymous with the internet. Like they're like interchangeable. When you talk about the internet, you're talking about Google, and if you're talking about Google, you're talking about the internet. It's to that point, and it only behooves, like, especially content creators, such as ourselves, it behooves us to, not necessarily financially or monetarily invest, but also just, finding other platforms to post our content.
Right.
And I think, it's kind of, it's the point of no return for companies like Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, because they dug themselves their own grave. But you could be a private company, but if you adhere to constitutional law, then you're only benefiting yourself.
Right.
Yeah, because there's there's some now like upstart platforms like Gab or BitChute, Minds.com. And I think after this whole Alex Jones thing, I think that there's going to be a significant migration over to those platforms.
I could definitely see that.
I mean, what is it? I always say it, but don't be foolish enough to think that the knife you sharpen to slit your enemy's throat, can't be used to slit yours.
Yeah, exactly. That's like you said. You say what you will about Alex Jones and like what he does, but I think there should be a lot more people standing up for him in this case, because, like you said, if it can happen to him, it can happen to anyone.
Right. Yeah. And I think when this happened, I think Ben Shapiro was kind of giddy, or his version of giddy, that Jones was was kicked off, and I think that sad, because
he was very he had a lot of Schadenfreude to that. Well,
been
him and Alex Jones definitely don't like each other.
I
think that's probably part of it, but the fact is that the same thing could happen. Well, the Daily Wire.
Robert, could you tilt your camera up a little, or there it is.
Is that better? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Daily Wire does have its own thing going for it, but they do actually use like YouTube and like other platforms to show their content. And if they like I said, what could happen to Alex Jones could happen to them. Like they're just as conservative as Alex Jones is. Maybe not like the extreme personality that Alex Jones is, but definitely conservative, and certainly they could be targeted too.
Right, and I think they're foolish, because the next thing they're going to go after is what is it? Domains.
Yeah.
So whatever service that the Daily Wire has their stuff on, they can easily go after them through the domain service. Just because they went and built their own site, and they have like the paywall and everything, that they think that they're insulated. But unless you own the servers, unless you own the storage, then you're vulnerable.
Right.
And I think that's going to be the next the battlefront. Is them going after domains, and maybe even ISPs.
Yeah, that's that's really where it's trouble. It's a troubling thought, because this is a huge battlefront right now for free speech, is through the internet. And this is one of those, like, we have to fight now. Otherwise, if we don't, we're not gonna have any sort of freedom or liberty.
Yeah, exactly. I think we have to try and preserve as many freedoms as we can now. Because if we just lay down and take it, then they'll never let you back. They'll never let you back up. I mean, that's a kind of a variation on something that Owen Benjamin says. Like, if you take a knee, then they'll never let you stand up again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, if you lie down and take their crap, then they'll never let you back up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if Alex Jones was a Klansman or some other like horrible person. It's like, but the thing is that okay, yeah, they targeted this quote unquote bad man. But then they're gonna, continue to spread out that definition. Like, oh, they're all bad men, and then everyone's gone.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason why you call someone a Nazi is so to dehumanize them, and then, whatever action you take, specifically violence you take, is justified because they're Nazis and they have to be stopped.
Exactly.
And so, oh man, I was gonna say something else, but I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, it's a depressing thought because, this is the last country, the last bastion for liberty in any sense of the word, and yeah, it's just I feel it's almost like I feel like we're losing the fight, or at least in some cases losing some battles. But hopefully, we'll make some progress and hopefully fight through all this.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel that too, but I think like the really big battles, like going out, at least like participating in the system, as broken as it is, I think we are we're on the right side of that, because I mean, because I mean, like look at freaking Colin Kaepernick. He was calling for people to go out, make a difference, make change, don't stand for injustice. But then they asked him like, "Oh, who'd you vote for?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't vote."
Fucking idiot.
And which totally destroyed his message, because he was gonna say, "Yo, you have to go and make a change," and but he was like, and then like his justification was like, "Oh, the system is broken, the system is rigged, so why would I participate in it?" He's like, "Well, you're a freaking moron."
Well, that's what I thought was it was funny, because that particular incident is, and I think I've mentioned this possibly on the live stream before, but was it Stephen A. Smith, who's no conservative by any means, he bashed Kaepernick about that too. It's like, I don't want to hear a damn thing out of his mouth.
Yeah. The ESPN guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just, and it's just like, come on, man. Like, well, and first of all, like, it was when he started to suck on the as a football player.
That's right. Yeah.
This is where this whole stuff got started. It was a stunt to bring more attention to him, and because he knew, I assume he knew that, like, either because he wasn't gonna fix whatever his problem was, and so it's like, well, I gotta keep my name out there. So this is the way to do it.
Right, but it completely backfired because it attracted all of this negative attention. And I know, in the world of marketing or publishing, there's no such thing as bad press. But in this case, that's not well, at least in sports, that's not really the case, because because what team would want to touch him knowing that there's like this level of like kind of controversy and negative publicity around it. No franchise, no franchise in the league would want to deal with that.
The only way that works is if you are a superstar, like
right.
a Hall of Fame level player, like in football, he's playing for the 49ers. So if he was like Joe Montana, the second coming of Joe Montana,
right, and he had to have at least 2 rings. He would, if he wanted to do like that kind of crap, he wouldn't need to have at least 2 rings. In my estimation,
if he was the next coming of Joe Montana, and he could probably do whatever he wanted and say whatever he wanted, and it's like he's kind of that controversial figure, but damn, he's gonna win me a Super Bowl and like make our team. We're gonna be winners. So that's where that comes in. But he's at best I would say like a 3rd-tier quarterback that throws nothing but interceptions, and so that's when you suck and you create controversy, no team's gonna touch you.
Word. And I don't know if this has been substantiated yet, but he only started doing this after his girlfriend told him to do it, and and not saying that it's the cause, but she is a Muslim.
Oh, I didn't hear about any of that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a whole like publicity stunt to just get his name out on the radar.
Right. Well, I'm sure like it was like serving dual purposes. And I'm sure she was kind of Delilah-ing him, whispering whispering into his ear a bit. Is it Delilah or who? Oh,
that was Delilah and Samson.
Yeah, but wasn't it also Jezebel?
Well, Jezebel was the during the Kingdom of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
She was the wife of, I forgot which king.
Yeah, but she wasn't.
It was during while Elijah was prophet. She was and she was probably the most evil woman that the world has ever known, or one of them at least.
Until Hillary Clinton.
Well, okay, that's like she might be the second coming of Jezebel. We might not be naming any women Hillary for a while.
Right, I know that name is, I'm sure, fallen out of favor or popularity. But it was like Jezebel who was like whispering into like the king's ear and like making him, or like kind of like convinced him to like adopt the Canaanite gods and stuff like that.
Right. Well, in the case of Delilah, she was kind of, Samson was definitely not the. He was a judge in Israel before the Kingdom of Israel,
mm-hmm.
and was not necessarily the the greatest of guys.
Right.
He was kind of he pretty much did everything under the sun, and his claim to fame is that he was had all this power given to him by God.
Mm-hmm.
Super strength, all that good stuff, and she was sent to kind of like figure out what his, what
was the secret sauce?
Yeah, and so she would whisper to him at night, like, "Oh, well, what do I have to do? What makes you so strong?" And he kept like kind of lying to her, and then eventually he finally gave in and told her the truth. It was his hair.
Yeah. But, yeah. What was it? Did you hear about Candace Owens?
Oh yeah, I heard that there was some something that happened to her and some other conservative.
Well, I mean, I'll fill you in. But before any of all of that happened,
I did hear that she retweeted.
Yeah, she retweeted that Sarah Jung's tweets and just switched out white with Jew or Jewish. And Twitter immediately like axed her. Suspended her account. And then it wasn't until they basically got caught with their pants down. And
whoops, our bad.
Yeah, our bad. This was just an accident. After manually reviewing it, it was just an error. It was like no, it wasn't. We all know.
It's like you can't be that dumb.
Yeah, but then. Okay, so that happened, and then also her and the founder and president of Turning Point University, the conservative college group, they were out, and I think in New York having breakfast, and then all of a sudden they got swarmed on by all these loony leftists, and it was to the point where they literally just started like yelling at them. Like yelling and screaming at them, just going ah ah ah, and it was the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's the Attack of the Pod people.
Yeah, I mean it was literally the most. It was the most stupid. It was the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life. Here are these grown ass people acting like children. Like they were literally acting like children. They were throwing a tantrum, and they couldn't even verbalize or articulate themselves with words, and they resorted themselves to screaming and yelling.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Right, and then it was ridiculous because they were a majority group of white people calling a black woman racist, and then also
possible. I didn't think like
or accusing her of being a white supremacist, and then also yelling and throwing jeers and insults to the local police force, which was made up of majority black and Hispanic officers.
Wow.
Yeah. And here's another thing that makes the logic, the leftist logic fail. They say minorities can't be racist. Well, you're accusing Candace Owens, a black woman, a minority, of being a racist.
Yeah.
How does that square exactly?
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. It's really starting to get out of hand.
It is. I mean, right? And another kind of like acolyte of Alex Jones, but Millie Weaver. I saw a video of her, like she was covering this rally of Trump supporters, and like there was these counter protesters, and then these bunch of freaking beta males were kind of harassing her, and then she was just asking him straight up, it's like, hey, does it make you feel like a real man harassing a woman? Cause that's what they were doing. They were crowding her, getting using their signs to cover her camera and stuff like that, and they're basically intimidating her. And if it was anyone on the left, and a group of conservative men was doing that to a leftist woman, you never hear the end of it.
Yeah, exactly.
They would say toxic masculinity rears its head on at Trump rally or whatever, but weak leftist beta males do it, and it's not even mentioned.
Not once. It's a sad state of affairs that we're all in.
Oh yeah, it really is. But again, if you guys watched last week, it's the trolling I like to do. And all right, hate comment.
Hate comment. All right.
Yes. Okay. One of them was put into review mode because he used some obscene languages. So,
awesome.
Yes. Yes.
What was stated?
Well, the first one says you're gay.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. And then the second one says, "Hey, dick licker." Yay! We offended someone. All right. I am revitalized.
I know that was something you've been looking forward to.
I know, right? I've been, what's the guy got to do to get some shade thrown at him?
I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, you're a gay dick licker.
Yes.
Which I mean, I suppose those two go hand in hand.
You know, the logic does line up. The logic does line up. There's a gay and dick licker. Yes, those things go together.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. Ah.
Well, I know Andy's satisfied now.
Yes, I am. I mean, I don't know if it's like 100% genuine, but I'll take it for now. Until we literally get someone who's threatening to slit my throat.
Well, unless it was Brandon, and then it's probably directed at me.
Maybe. Wait, the username is Convich22.
That's not Brandon.
Oh, okay. All right. See, we don't stack the deck here. All right. So don't ever accuse us of stacking the deck.
It is no one that we know.
Yeah. So this is a complete random person that who has thrown a homophobic slur at us.
I'm so hurt.
I know, right?
So anyways, I think.
Anyways, yeah, I know you gotta, your time is short tonight. So.
But we got a few more minutes. So what we're gonna be doing for the next month or so for our movie of the week segment, we are going to be reviewing some Stanley Kubrick films. That are not named 2001: A Space Odyssey, because I think a lot of people know that film. Everyone talks about it. It's pretty popular. We didn't want to go with something like that. And we've also reviewed Full Metal Jacket, I believe, or at least talked about it in various episodes. So
I love that movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah. I particularly love the opening scene where the Gunny is just going off off on them with all the insults.
I didn't know they stacked shit that high.
I know that. It's like, how tall are you? It's like 5'8". It's like, good God, I didn't know they stacked shit that high.
I still, honestly, I do go back and watch that first half of the film because it's so fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I know. I looked it up on YouTube and I have it saved on a playlist, and I just every once in a while when I just need a really good laugh, I just watch it. Yeah. It's like, God, son, you're so ugly you could be a modern art masterpiece.
But so we're not doing that. We're not doing 2001: Space Odyssey. And so the first one that we're going to be reviewing is Dr. Strangelove.
Yes.
Or that's not the full title.
Yeah, the tagline is How I Stopped Worrying and Learned to Love the Bomb.
So, yeah, and this is one that I had not watched before.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't really know what to expect going in.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I was expecting it to be kind of more of, kind of more serious, like Full Metal Jacket or 2001: A Space Odyssey were, where there was, it's definitely had a much more serious tone. This movie didn't quite fit that. I guess it was supposed to be more of a dark comedy, and it felt a little goofier than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, no. For those of you, it's not like full on kind of comedy. It's a very dry humor,
right?
So don't expect like big pratfalls or like really big sight gags. I think like the sight gags were it was it's not like a Dumb and Dumber, it's a very dry humor.
Well, the part that got me where I was like, okay, this movie is definitely not very serious is when General Tarkin was it not Tarkenton? Was that what the hell was his name?
Turgeton?
The Air Force general.
Yeah. Fuck Turgeson?
Turgeson, thank you. Turgeson, he was like kind of going off on a tirade with the president, and as he was backing up, he like tumbles over like a goofball. I was like, what the hell is going on? And that was the moment where I was like, this movie is goofy as fuck right now.
Yeah, or just like the phone call between the president and the premier of Russia. That was
right. Yeah. So that was the other part where I was like, okay, this movie's just really silly at this point. So to as a little bit of a breakdown of the story, it's set in around the time of the Cold War.
It's
60s era Cold War. It's not it's not a President Kennedy or Eisenhower or anything like that. It's a fake president, and there's a base commander who now what was true at the time during the Cold War, they had a series of bombers that were within a certain range that would fly around nearly 24/7 and is to be ready to bomb if there was any sort of attack or whatever. Mm-hmm. So they were always on alert, and so that was a very realistic part of it. But essentially, this one base commander, he went a little rogue. Mm-hmm. And essentially locked down the base, locked down any sort of contact with the outside world, mm-hmm. and essentially put some of the bombers on a mission that said that America's been attacked. It's time to go on the offensive to retaliate, and then lock down their communication so they wouldn't be able to get any communication in. And so the rest of the president and the rest of the military are trying to put an end to this captain that is essentially had created these orders, because what they found out is that Russia had what was called a doomsday device, that if there was any sort of retaliation, it was a fail-safe mechanism that would essentially set off a series of nuclear attacks that would essentially destroy the Earth.
Right, yeah. And what is it? The most surprising thing for me was that Peter Sellers played 3 different characters in this film. I don't think we should tell them who the characters are. So I think you should go and watch this film. But I was actually surprised by one of them, because I was able to what is it? I was able, I knew two of the characters that he played, but I didn't quite catch the third one. And the third one for me was very surprising because I was like looking at him the entire time. I didn't even see it.
Yeah, and there was it was kind of I knew who like which characters he played, but then like one of the characters, even though I knew it was him, I was like, man, that does not look like him at all. I mean, I can't even like see Peter Sellers in that character. It was pretty funny. Another one of the kind of another side note with the Air Force general,
Tarjason.
Yeah.
Come on, it's not that hard. Tarjason.
Yeah. He it's funny when I'm watching the movie, like I got it, but then I don't know what's well, I can't remember his name right now. But anyways, so apparently the actor that played his character,
I think I know where you're going with this.
He was playing he felt like that character should be played a little bit more seriously. And so Stanley Kubrick kind of tricked him in a sense. It's like, oh, we're just doing a bunch of different off takes and be goofy, be silly, kind of do whatever it comes to like.
Oh, so he tricked them.
And so he did all those scenes, kind of played it up, kind of over the top, and when Stanley Kubrick ended up using those scenes, he's like he refused to work with Stanley Kubrick again because he felt like he was humiliated by him because of that. It's like so that was that character he felt was supposed to be played a lot more seriously, and was pretty pissed off that he got tricked into playing it kind of more of the over the top crazy character.
Right. I didn't. Wow, that's amazing. Because he's the same. The actor who played General Tarjason, he was the same guy who played Patton.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty surprising.
So yeah, that was a little bit of an interesting tidbit about about the movie as well. And one thing that's I think very interesting about Stanley Kubrick, who he's kind of a crazy man. He in a good way, where he was very secretive about his films. He didn't really do trailers. He kept everything very secretive, and he wanted people to be surprised and not sure what to expect going into watching his films. And the guy would work endlessly in making sure everything was exactly as he wanted it to be.
Yeah, he was one of those more exacting directors.
Yeah, and that's essentially what killed him. His last film, Eyes Wide Shut, which was in '99. He worked without sleep for so long. His body just gave out, and he ended up dying.
Yeah. Just worked himself to death.
Yeah, but it was kind of that whole thing of just working to keep everything a secret, and I don't know how someone like him would work today. Just with all the social media and whatnot. But,
I know, God. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if an exacting director like Stanley Kubrick could survive in today's 24-hour kind of 24-hour news cycle kind of lifestyle.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't know if you knew, but Stanley Kubrick started his career as a photographer.
That's right, he did.
Yeah, which if you look at some of the way he framed things, or the frame, how he framed a shot, or the color and the kind of composition of certain shots, you can tell that he understands images. And I think,
Yeah.
well, one specifically was the twins from what was this? The Shining. That was actually
Right.
that shot was actually inspired by an old photo. I think from a German photographer. Of twins, twin girls. So.
Yep. The another cool little cameo in this film is a pre-Star Wars James Earl Jones.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, pre-Vader. That's right.
Yeah, pre-Vader Jones.
Yeah. That was surprising.
Yeah, and then this, as you know, Andy and I are always fans of finding out where certain like iconic lines or iconic scenes are that have become popular and become part of the pop culture and get parodied a lot. We always like to find out where did that originate? Where did that come from? And this movie definitely has a couple of those type of moments.
Yeah. Like the Slim Pickings when he's on the bomb and he's like, it gets detached from the plane and he rides it all the way down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's been parodied quite a few times on The Simpsons, for one.
Yeah. But it's funny because having watched it, I didn't realize that that it wasn't like the pilot's intention to ride the nuke down. It's just something that happened.
Yeah, exactly. He was just trying to fix the bay doors.
Right.
And
so
then, when he did, the bombs deployed and he just rode it all the way down like a crazy man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean that's one of those iconic scenes that gets parodied a lot. So it's kind of cool seeing where that originated from. And there was what was it? One of the lines from crap. I think it was the scene like when they're in the war room. There was a couple of like lines and stuff. Well, Doctor Strangelove, who is surprisingly, he's not like a main character. He's like a super side character that the movie is named after for some reason. There's a the whole he has this what's believed to be like a mechanical hand that kind of has a mind of its own. Kind of the some of the motions and stuff that like he's kind of like fighting the hand itself. There's a lot of scenes that gets parodied of with people fighting against like their own hand.
Right.
And something else that I also noticed because he's a wheelchair bound character is in my favorite Disney film, Nightmare Before Christmas. The doctor looks a lot like Dr. Strangelove.
Huh. I never thought about it until just now.
I mean, with the gloves, the glasses, and just the way that he communicates, it's very much like Dr. Strangelove. I don't know if that's what Tim Burton was going for, but just another And as soon as I saw him, I was like, dude, that's that's the guy from Nightmare Before Christmas. So
yeah.
Anyways, what are your thoughts? What do you think of the movie, Andy? Like, did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it?
I mean, I enjoyed it. Again, if you're looking for something like that's kind of like slapstick, or like looking for like really obvious like sight gags and things like that, this isn't the movie for you. Because the humor is very dry and almost like it can go over your head if you're not like really paying attention. This is like a movie where you need to pay attention,
Absolutely.
just to get the humor. in it.
Yep.
Because just like like they're like again, I mentioned the phone call between the president and the premier, where it's like the president has to let the premier of Russia know that this that nukes are about to be dropped on his country, but they're like having like this kind of conversation like old friends have, like you say you never call me anymore, and it's like I'm busy and when like the fate of like their countries is like hanging in the balance, but it's just like this kind of really super casual, nonchalant kind of conversation that goes on
when he or when that one mistress / secretary calls the general.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's like that whole.
It's like something, it's a really, high stress situation, and then all of a sudden the general gets a phone call, and it's like his secretary / mistress, and they're having like kind of like that couples fight where it's like you said you'd be back, in time, you said you'd be back in like 10 minutes, and it's like oh no, baby, it's not that I don't want to be with you, it's just work, it's like they really need me right now. And
I would have to say for me, I liked parts of it. Like there was some of the humor was good. It was some of the like I said, I liked parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to.
Okay.
I was and because I do like Stanley Kubrick. I like his movies, but this is one I didn't quite like as much. Because when I was before I watched it, but when I was reading up about not necessarily the plot of the movie, but just kind of like how it was made and some of the behind the scenes stories, I was like, oh, this sounds like it might be kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was intrigued to watch it, and and then I watched it, and I guess I was a little disappointed that it maybe I was watching it expecting one thing. I thought it was going to be more of a serious tone, and when it became kind of like goofy, it wasn't what I was expecting going in, so maybe that's why I didn't like it. Kind of like when you're expecting to drink like a Coke, and then it turns out that it's like Pepsi. It's like it's just you're not expecting that. You're not expecting that taste, so it's just like, oh, what the hell am I drinking?
Yeah, or you expect you go in to watch a Star Wars movie and end up watching this heavy leftist indoctrination film.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, I get it.
So I didn't hate it. Like I'll say this.
Well, also because you think Stanley Kubrick and you think like these really kind of cerebral kind of works, and then he offers up this comedy, and it's like, what?
Yeah, and it's just like I said, it was out of nowhere for me. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like like I said, the conversation that the president was having with the premier of Russia, it was just that was kind of goofball. And then you had the general like kind of just acting like a complete lunatic and stumbling over himself, fighting.
Or what about when the military forces actually get themselves onto the base where like the colonel or whatever goes nuts, and the one soldier that gets to oh god, what's
Mandrake?
Yeah, Mandrake. He gets the Mandrake, and then like he was saying, "Oh, do you have any change?" And it's like, "What makes you think I had change?" And then it's like, "Oh, you have a gun. Go and shoot that soda machine, so I can get some change to make this to place a phone call to the president." And it's like, "All right, fine, but if the Coca-Cola company comes to ask about their machine, I'm going to point to you. It's just like these kind of absurd moments. Ridiculous. Yeah, these like absurd, ridiculous moments. In like this kind of like more like serious kind of these more kind of high stakes situations that are going on around them. I think it's
right. Well, and then that's the like I said. So it was very silly, and I will say though that the way the movie ended, he tends to end his movies a little bit on the ambiguous side,
right?
Where it kind of leaves it up for thought, or what happened after this, and 2001: A Space Odyssey is definitely one of those type of movies.
Right, yeah, because like the whole space baby at the end. When I first thought, I think I was like in 7th grade, and my teacher, who was like a really big it was in science class obviously, but he was a big science nerd, and so he showed it to us, and I was like utterly confused at the end with like the space baby. I was like, what the hell does that mean?
I will. We're not reviewing 2001, but I will say this about that film is Kubrick, and there was I forget the author's name, but they worked hand in hand where the other guy wrote a book of that story, which explains a lot of the lore and the story behind 2001. And whereas Stanley Kubrick kind of went more of in his direction, where it's more cerebral and kind of left a lot of stuff up to interpretation. But from what I understood of like the articles I read is that these are supposed to be kind of enjoyed together, where you've read the book and you go into the movie, and it kind of gives you more of like it kind of connects the dots.
Was that what 2010 was supposed to be?
I don't know if that's what that was supposed to be. I didn't see that one. I haven't really, like I said, I've never seen that one. I don't know if that was supposed to be like what the book was talking about, or. But I do know that that book and movie were supposed to be enjoyed together to kind of like to help connect the dots.
Was it Arthur C. Clarke that wrote 2001?
I'd have to look it up. So I don't remember who the author was. And I don't have my computer turned on right now, so I had
Sorry.
But I will say though, if you're the movie does end ambiguously. If you're looking, well, it is a comedy, but if you're looking more for like a slapstick, kind of comedy, you're not really going to get that. It's very subtle.
Right. Oh yeah, it was written by Arthur C. Clarke.
Yeah.
Well, the book was and then he and Kubrick worked on the screenplay.
Correct. Yeah. So I guess for me, it wasn't what I was expecting, and maybe if I go back into it, knowing what it is now, I might be able to enjoy it a little bit better. But I'm gonna go probably like 2.5 stars currently, and that could change.
Okay. I would say, well, this is just me, but I give it 3 stars. Just because I understand and I enjoy that drier sense of humor.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, if you're a Peter Sellers fan, I think this will be worth the watch.
His another little side fun tidbit about this movie with they had worked, Kubrick and Peter Sellers had worked on another film that had come out just before this one called Lolita, and that movie was very successful because which they felt was because of Peter Sellers' character portrayal. And the only way that this film was going to get funded is if Peter Sellers was in the movie and not only was in the movie but played several characters. That was the stipulation for getting this movie made and funded, and so that's why he has 3 roles.
Right. And yes, don't forget. If you ever decide to watch, Doctor Strangelove, yes, do try and pick out Peter Sellers. And if you aren't, you have no idea who Peter Sellers is, do yourself a favor and look into his body of work. If nothing, you know him from the Pink Panther.
Yeah, he definitely. He's definitely the star of the film. Like he takes the show.
Right.
So yeah, I would say it's definitely worth a watch. With any of these movies that we tend to watch, they're always at least worth one watch.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them tend to be more of a classic than others, but I would say, yeah, it's definitely worth one watch. I didn't like it as much as I thought, so that's why I gave it 2.5. But maybe I'll go back and rewatch it and at another point and change my viewpoint on the movie.
Word.
Yeah, and like I said, all this month we're going to be doing Stanley Kubrick films. So
and not the obvious ones.
No, yeah, we're going B-sides.
Yeah.
Well, because I've seen all the popular ones, so
right.
I'm kind of curious to see some of his lesser known works. Like this is, I would say, is one of his lesser known works, at least today. Everyone, they talk about like Eyes Wide Shut. They talk about 2001, Full Metal Jacket,
Shining.
So we're gonna. I'm sorry, which one?
The Shining.
Oh yeah, The Shining. Yeah, everyone talks about The Shining. That's been parodied over and over again.
Yeah.
So we're going a little bit more B-sides. I will say though, I haven't seen The Shining in probably 20 years.
20 years, dude. They play like every other month on AMC.
Oh well, I guess I'm not watching AMC that much then.
Oh, yeah.
But usually, like when I'm watching AMC, it's for like The Walking Dead and like Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad or something.
Right. Yeah, I think. Well, it's kind of sad because I think AMC has lost a bit in terms of like their offerings and shows. I mean, I know like I think they're getting more into like the supernatural. They're trying to break in more into the supernatural with like that show Preacher.
Well, that's a comic series that they're trying to turn into a show, which is like what The Walking Dead was.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, Preacher is on its like second or third season now. Seems like it's doing well.
Yeah.
Was another show that I really like on AMC is Into the Badlands. That's a good one.
I don't know. It just looks kind of ridiculous to me.
Well, it is a little. It's an over the top like kind of kung fu samurai dystopian kind of play. It's supposed to be. It's kind of like a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon show. In a lot of ways.
And it's funny because that's kind of that's where I live, But for some reason because growing up, that's the kind of movies that I'd watch. I remember watching the first Mortal Kombat movie in theaters. God,
I remember that too.
Right, and. And I watched the Street Fighter movie in theaters also, and they were just as ridiculous. But growing up, I loved that. I loved it. I love those kind of like stupid, like super cheesy, over the top action movies.
But I kind of like with Into the Badlands, you get a little bit of that like kind of the over the top action.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the story is really awesome. I think the story is really good.
Okay. Well, okay. Because it's you, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I like that. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know. I still. There's a lot of shows that I gotta catch up on. I still haven't even watched. I still haven't even gotten into Game of Thrones.
Oh, jeez, what's wrong with you, sir?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, homegirl Christina, she's like pissed at me too because she like says like, man, I need someone to talk to about this stuff, and I'm just like, ah.
I didn't know she was a Game of Thrones fan.
Well, it was funny because she was saying that. Yeah, because we were hanging out one night, and then she was saying like how like her ex is the one that got her into Game of Thrones, but then they broke up. But then like she got all into Game of Thrones and like but then for some reason like she has no one to talk to about it anymore. Which kind of doesn't make any sense because if it was as popular a show as I know it is, I'm sure she could find someone to talk to about it.
There's a lot of people that like I kind of there's stuff that I watch that is popular that I have a hard time finding people to talk about with.
Yeah, I get that because I watch Westworld and it seems like I'm the only one that watches Westworld. Although this last season was kind of whatever.
I am a season behind on Game of Thrones, but I do have it right here to watch. So that's on my queue. So I think the last season is coming up or starting sometime soon. So I'm gonna
wait. So a Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna watch through this and then just before I watch the last one. So yeah. You gotta get on that, Andy. It's good. And the thing is, once you start watching it, like because I kind of drug my feet for a while before watching Game of Thrones, and once I started watching it, I was like, God damn it! Like I'm hooked. So.
Yeah, I mean, because I pick up shows just like so sporadically. Some shows, I'll, someone recommends it to me, and I watch it right away. And sometimes, I know of a show, and people are constantly recommending it to me, but I'm always putting it off.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That happens to me now too a lot.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we did an hour and a half.
I went a little bit over.
Yeah, we went over, but we just got lost in the conversation.
It happens.
It happens. So, is there anything that you want to add, or any final thoughts?
No, I'm just be on the lookout for new content soon. We finally got all our new audio equipment in, so we're gonna be setting that up soon. So we got new stuff for the main show coming up here within the next several weeks, and I'm also working on a review of a couple of games that I'll be writing about. So I'll let you guys know where that's going to be posted up at sometime in the future.
Yep, you heard it here first, folks. Yeah, the Circle of Jerks podcast, the main podcast will be coming back up again.
We got our guests. Yeah. We got some guests. Cool.
Yeah,
guests
we're gonna have a bunch of guests lined up. Lots. We're gonna do lots of interviews.
We're gonna see Angry Andy in the first one back.
Yes, but that's that's Robert's fault because he's making us freaking watch 13 Reasons Why, and I despised the first season. I despised the first season, and yet he wants us to watch the second season, which which I did start, and I already dislike. I'm not only dislike. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's such a stupid show.
Now, see, I was with season 1. I was definitely more middle of the road between you and James. I can say that I went more your direction this season, Andy.
It's such a stupid. Well, because first of all, the first one just glorified suicide, and the girl was a stupid bitch. All right, because she the girl who killed herself is a stupid bitch because she left her. Spoiler alerts. She left the decision to kill herself on whether or not the school counselor would come and stop her. Even she was giving this vague information that was very general and wasn't alluding to help me, help me, help me. It was more I'm feeling some kind of way about this thing that may or may not have happened to me, and just he's not the counselor's not a fucking mind reader.
Yeah, I know how you feel, Andy. So that's just a preview of Angry Andy for
I know. See, this is what that show does to me. All right, this is that stupid show. This is what it does to me.
It's quite hilarious to watch.
Yeah, I mean, but this isn't even the worst of it. When we were filming for Robert's gaming channel, Up by Up Down, I went into a 30-minute tirade. I went into a 30-minute tirade about that how much I hate that show and how stupid I think it is.
Episode because of this tirade too.
What?
We were gonna film one more episode that day too, but you went into that tirade.
Yeah. I mean, I got so heated over Robert saying that we had to watch the second season that I literally shut down filming to complain about the show. That's how much I hate the show.
Oh goodness. So that's what you get to look forward to within the next several weeks. We got some good stuff going on. We're gonna be setting up our new equipment this week, and hopefully bring you a better product.
Yes, I mean, if anything, it'll cut down on the ambient noise, so you won't be hearing freaking muscle cars zooming by Robert the apartment. So.
Yeah, that should help a lot.
Yeah.
And we won't be talking over each other quite as much either, because we'll
definitely it'll definitely help cut down crosstalk and it's a really exciting time for the Circle of Jerks podcast. So so don't forget to subscribe and to follow along. And big thanks to Convich22. We're chatting in the live chat back and forth, and I just saw that he is now subscribed to us. So
awesome.
Yes.
Hey.
Welcome. Come and bitch at us some more.
As long as they're subscribing and making noise, that's all we care about.
Yeah. Yeah, come and throw some more shade at us.
Yeah,
little bitch.
Well, there's for my hero Dale Earnhardt. There's one thing that he kind of said where they're because before the race they usually will ride around one of the the pace cars or whatever, and they announce the name, and he said he gets booed or cheered. It's what? How do you handle all the boos and everything? It's well, whether they're booing or cheering, as long as they're making noise,
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
They make noise. They don't. You're nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar thing that I used to say is, like, love me or hate me, just don't be indifferent towards me.
Exactly.
All right, that'll do it for us tonight. Thank you for joining us. We do this every Tuesday at around 8-ish p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget to check out the library of different content we have on the Circle of Jerks channel page, whether it's the main podcast or Nocturnal Transmissions or Robert's channels. Robert's show Up by Up Down. Go do yourself a favor and go check it out. Leave us some comments. Give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. Just don't do nothing with it. Don't forget to follow us on our social medias: Twitter at PodcastCOJ and Instagram at Circle of Jerks Podcast. And with that, we will say goodnight to you.
See y'all next week.